Hi guys, it's Coach Anthony back at you with another edition of Animate, bringing chess to life. We come to the final part of Check and Checkmate. Please make sure you've already watched part 1 and part 2. Okay guys, it's time to find out if you can actually use the information that has been given to you over the previous 2 videos. Now we've got a simple position here, and black decides to make the move rook to d1, and as you can see, it's placing the white king in check. Pause the video and find out what your best move is. Let's check the answer. Well, we can see that the white king is in check. Unfortunately, these little guys create an unwanted barrier. The king has nowhere to run, so that option's out the window. We see that the king cannot capture the rooks quite simply because the king can only move 1 square, so that option's out the window. What about blocking? If we see the sneaky bishop sitting on a6, we may notice how it can move backwards and block. In this position, it is the white team to move, and the move queen takes pawn on h7 is made. Pause your video and work out the best option for the black team. Let's check the answer. Can the black king run to the square h8? The answer is no. If you recall from the previous video, a king is not allowed to go to any square where it can be in check. So that means the h8 square is off limits. So running away is just not an option. How about blocking? Well, because the queen is directly attacking the king, there is no square in between them. So blocking is just not a possibility. So that's out the window. So let's look at capturing. Can the king capture the queen? Well, once again, if you remember the rules from the previous video, the king cannot capture the queen because there is a sneaky bishop on c2 which is protecting the queen, and a king cannot take any piece with protection. So unfortunately, you cannot capture. So some of you may be saying, well, that's checkmate then. The most important thing to remember is when we say capture, we don't only mean can the king capture. What about the other members of the army? And in particular, this knight sneakily sitting on the square f6, which has eyes on the queen. So to get out of the check, the best thing to do is simply capture the queen. Great work. We have another position, and it's black's turn to move. Black decides to play the move a rook captures the pawn on g2, placing the white king in check. Pause your video and find the best option for the white team. Let's check it out. I definitely recommend that whenever your king is in danger, it's in check, that when you're looking at the options available to a king, the first or most probably the best option is to see if you can capture, because that might just sort out all of the problems right away. So let's have a look at capturing. Can the king take the rook? Unfortunately, no, because that rook is protected by the knight. Well, one thing the king can definitely do is it can run away. We actually have a square where we can escape to, and the king can sit happily on the square h1. So running away, if you found that, well done. Is blocking an option? Unfortunately, blocking is not an option because there are no squares between the rook and the king. Hopefully you did find the sneaky bishop move, that bishop moving backwards and being able to capture the rook. This is definitely the best option. So remember, sometimes the king can't capture a piece because it's protected, but we must look around for all of our pieces to see if maybe they can help us out. So here we go, capture that rook. And if the knight was to take us back, no problemo. Say goodbye to that horse. It's gone to the Old Town Road. And now white team is in a good position simply because of this little guy. This little guy is threatening to go to the end of the board and get promotion, and it's backed up by a rook. Here is a slightly trickier position. It's white's turn to move, and the bishop decides to travel to the square c4 and place the black king in check. Pause the video and we'll be back to find out the solution. Let's check the answer. Well, it's obvious that the black king is in check and we need to get out of it. So hopefully we've been learning by now that one of the best options to check out immediately is whether we can capture the piece that's attacking our king. Unfortunately, this time round, we have none of our pieces that can help take out that piece. So let's examine the other options. Well, one of the options is to block. Well, how can we do this? We could use our bishop, which is again a difficult to see move, and bring it back to the square d5, which would block the check. The only problem with that square on d5, if we were to bring it back, is that once we place it here to block the check, well, the bishop will just capture us and put us back in check, and also be attacking that rook over there in the square a8. So in terms of an option, yes, it would help me get out of the check. Would it be the best option? I don't think so. Another possibility is, since we have to put something on either of these squares to block the check, we see the other piece that we can use is our own rook, which can go to the square f7, which will definitely block the check. If it's sitting here, there's no check anymore. But this could lose us some material because the bishop can end up taking the rook, and we may not want to lose some material at this moment in time. So in this situation, the easiest option here is just to quite simply run away. Run to the square h8, and black is in wonderful shape because they have 1, 2, 3, 4 power pieces versus 1, 2, 3 power pieces for white. So black has the advantage here. On to the final position. White team to move, and white makes the move knight to e7, placing the black king in check. Pause the video and work out the best option for the black team. Let's check the answer. Well, we know that when the king's in check, we have to either capture, block, or run away. But here's something special about the knight. Something that the knight can do that the queen or any other piece can't do. And that is, when a knight places a king in check, you only have two options. And that is capture or run away. There is no blocking. So in this position, we see, can the black team capture the knight? And the short answer is yes. The queen can capture the knight. The next question is it worth it? And the answer would be a resounding no, because that knight is under protection by the rook. So that means there will be severe consequence for it. That then leaves only one option, and that quite simply is for the king to make a run for it into the square H8. So king to H8, best way to get out of the check. There we have it, guys. Check is something that is practically guaranteed to happen in your games. And when it does, the following mindset is important. Remember, you have three options available. Capturing is a preferred option, so should be examined first, then blocking or running away. Likewise, if you give check to your opponent, you should already know your opponent's best response. Awesome! Get out there and play lots of games to get experience. Please like and subscribe to get more videos. See you all on the next video.